Alrighty, folks, I have a real treat for you today. I have a very dynamic individual who's done so many amazing things I can't even count. The one and only Lisa Song Sutton. How you doing, Lisa?
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. Actually, Sutton has been changed recently, hasn't it?
Right, yeah. So I think I'm gonna keep both. So it'll be like Sutton Gunderson, my husband's last name. But yeah,
Gunderson.
I keep forgetting to say it actually because I'm so used to saying my name for so long. So
Yeah. Well, if you haven't caught on, folks, Lisa did just recently get married, so congratulations on
thank
that.
you.
You look, tell us a little bit about him. I just heard he was a lieutenant colonel. Somebody told me the other day.
Yeah, he's a lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. Flew F-15s and F-22s. So fighter pilot, like my girlfriends call him Top Gun. That's the only reference they have.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah, no,
amazing.
he's
Well,
great.
congratulations for that. The reason I wanted to talk today is you are going to be one of our speakers at the ORAT event in February 15th and 16th. You're speaking day one in the afternoon. And I thought we should just give them a little tease. Again, they are going to be able to line up and ask you questions. But I wanted you there because you have a very interesting story, right? You went down a focused career path with a lot of schooling and a lot of education. And then at some point, you took a right turn to become an entrepreneur. And I think there's a lot of people that get into careers that maybe think about making that right turn and just don't because they feel trapped or something. So I just thought we should share that amazing story and tell people how it worked out.
Yeah, so my background, I started my business career working as a W-2 employee in a law firm. Went to college for a poli-sci undergrad, went to law school, and then started working my big girl job, right, at the law firm. So I think it's a combination of the generation, I'm like an older millennial, generation of my parents telling me this is the path, right? You have to go to college, you have to go to grad school, check. And then you have to get out and get that good paying job. And then like you're set, right? Like this is the path to success. And so you do that and it's fine. Like I liked my job. I think I don't have a stereotypical entrepreneur story in the sense that I like didn't get burned by the man or like hated my job and then was seeking something else. I liked my job. I liked the people that I worked with. It was fulfilling work. We did business bankruptcy, business litigation, real estate. But it was just by happenstance that while I was working there, I had an opportunity to team up with a girlfriend of mine who came to me with an idea, and her idea was alcohol infused cupcakes. And I was like, I don't even know how to bake, but I'm sold. Like, I love this idea. It's perfect for Vegas. This is the place where people come to overspend, overindulge, buy new things they're not going to buy and do at home. Let's do it. Like, let's start the company. And so I made all the mistakes in the beginning that a first-time entrepreneur makes. I moved her into my house. I just bought a house in Summerlin. This is like circa 2012. I'm like, moving to my house. I have this big house, move to my house. We'll start the company. And we literally started the bakery out of my home kitchen of just like testing recipes and things like that. And that's where the company was born. And I kept my day job while the company was getting its feet under it, because what I brought to the table was obviously not the baking skills. And it was the finances, right? It was the kind of putting the company together as we were trying to take off at the same time. Because I didn't have small business experience prior. But I knew enough to be dangerous in the sense that working at the firm, and especially with a business bankruptcy background, I did get to see a lot of what not to do. Mm-hmm. All the mess ups in the beginning, whether that was people who didn't have their partnerships papered up, loose operating agreements or non-existing operating agreements, very loose financial handling, right? They're running all kinds of personal expenses through the business account and now they're in trouble. So I saw it on the legal end. So in going into small business, it was fairly easy to put together a do not do list. And from that, we were able to build.
Yeah. And again, it's an amazing story. And what I really love about your story is, again, you kept the job, right? You didn't just burn the boats and jump in. But there was a time in the not too distant future where you were like, okay, if we're going to really do this, you got to leave the security of a day job and go all in. Talk about that.
Yeah, so that was almost 2 years into the business, about 18 months ish, almost 2 years into the business, being alive. Um, all of a sudden, we had made enough money where I was like, wait a second, like this the math is not mathing here for me to be working 5.5 days a week full time at a law firm, and then nights and weekends running around baking, doing deliveries, setting up events. So I was like, how do I reconcile this? Like it's not computing. And so I just went in and had a really frank conversation with my boss at the time. And they knew all about the cupcakes because you use the resources you have in front of you, right? So all of my coworkers were literally our first
Yeah.
taste testers for the different flavors. And like I said, they were alcohol cupcakes. So it's literally like vodka cupcakes. I was bringing in all kinds of stuff and they were just like, you can't bring these into my at 9 a.m. Like, this is
It's Vegas, but not that
what
early.
are we doing here, guys? Like my boss was just like, Lisa, he's like, please, like, can we reduce it to like once a week, So it was awesome because everyone just thought it was such a fun concept, super supportive about it. I never tried to hide it or anything from them. But then like I said, it ended up growing over time, right? It ended up growing. And so I was just like, okay, like now I'm at a crossroads where I'm so excited to build what we've continued to build. And the way I looked at my day job was that I was like, I'll always have that, right? I'll always have that to go back to if things don't work out. Like my worst case scenario is going and getting a job somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's not that bad.
That's not horrible.
Yeah. It's not horrible, right? That's not that bad of a worst case scenario. So I said, I'll do this leap now, right? And try this now because the worst case scenario is that the whole thing blows up in my face and I have to turn around and go back and get a job.
Yeah.
Fine. The hardest part really was actually talking to my parents about it because, like I said, especially my mom, my mom's kind of old school Korean lady, tiger mom, Asian tiger mom. That was the hardest part was explaining to her in particular what I was doing and why, because even when we had first started the company, my mom was like, okay, well, don't quit your day job. Like she was just very like, okay, whatever, like do whatever you want, but like, don't jeopardize what you currently have, which is fair. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the hardest part because even though numbers wise, right, like you can see that like we're making money, my mom was just kind of like, yeah, but it's still not like it's still not what you went to school for. It's still not like a real career, like she was just not having it. And so it did take some time.
Yeah, I totally get that. Obviously, Olivia, she's Asian. So I can imagine that conversation. If Teresa, our daughter, was, that would be an interesting conversation. But again, that door, that cupcake opened the world to you. I've seen you do so many amazing things. You started, a shipping location. Then you modeled it. You're helping hundreds of people do their own stores. I saw you just bought a store. You're part of a venture fund. It's just all these things opened up for you with that one little decision. Is that fair?
Yes, definitely. Because what that one business taught me was, wow, I can have my own company as long as I team up with an operations partner. We put together processes in place and SOPs. And then all of a sudden I just was like, oh my gosh, like I went wild. I went wide instead of deep, right? Like I went wide where I was just saying yes to everything because I was like, okay, well, like what are like the 4 core things that I'm really good at that I can bring to the table, legal, financing, whatever. And I was just like, let's do it all. Like, let's just start it all. There was one point where I had like 7 different endeavors going.
Wow.
It was crazy. Yeah, it was really, really crazy. So it's pared down a little bit since then. But no doubt, like every single one not only was a great experience and learning lesson, but I'm so grateful for that first experience of just the realization of, okay, great. Like I can have my own company and I don't have to be a one-person show.
Yeah. We also should talk about one of your good friends, Cody Sanchez. Cody Sanchez just released a book and you're actually featured in the book, right? So
yeah, it was by surprise. That's for sure. She's so great. I mean, that book it's called Main Street Millionaire, and it's it's just chock full of all her takeaways and business lessons that she's learned along the way of building not only a multi-million-dollar portfolio, but also helping others do the same thing. And I mean, she and I had to have this discussion years ago about boring businesses because I'd gotten into the mailbox store industry. And, we had joked, right? Like, I was like, I want all the boring businesses, and she literally took that and like literally and figuratively ran with it. Right. So she was like laundromats, car wash, the whole thing. And it's been so incredible actually to see her growth. I think it's only been like 2 or 3 years since she started her YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't predict, right? You can't even predict the type of reach, impact, all the folks that she's helped. And so, she was kind of sending me an early copy of her book, which was super exciting. And I cracked it open and I'm kind of like sifting through, and it was like this whole like 4 pages about, she tells the origin story of not only how we met, and then also the origin story of me getting into the mailboxes. But it was just hilarious. Yeah. She like, I was like, I texted her, I was like, Cody, I was like, you are the only person that I'm going to allow to get away with calling me clacking around in my heels. And like, she calls my corgis little hot dog, little hot dogs on a leash. Like, hilarious. It's great.
And again, it was a surprise to you. You didn't know.
Yeah, no. And she was like, oh my God. She's like, like, it's such a great story, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you're out of control. I was like, this is awesome. Like,
yeah, that's amazing. Well, again, she's going to be at the event. She'll be speaking day 1 in the afternoon. Get your questions ready for her. She's an open book. She's an amazing individual, such an amazing individual. You have a charity that you're currently raising gifts for. So tell us about that.
Yeah, it's a community project. It's like an angel tree project, basically. We've been doing this. This is the 9th year that we've been doing this. And we team up with local Title I schools. And essentially these are schools where 95% or more of their student population, and this is elementary schools, so pre-K to 5th grade, 95% or more of their student population is on free and reduced lunch. And then we do essentially a Christmas party for their student population that are experiencing homelessness. So these are kids in Clark County. If a child does not have a permanent address on file with the school, then they classify them as homeless. And so some of these kids, they live in a car with a parent. Many of them live in weekly housing. Also, if you're in a shelter, if you're in like a public shelter, you also don't have an address. So, they're so young, right? It's pre-K to 5th grade. I mean, they range from age 4 to age 10. And, many of them, this is the only Christmas they'll have as far as, kind of getting gifts from Santa and things like that. So every year, just a group of us, friends, we get together and we build out the list working with the teachers at the school, and they find out what's on the kids' wish lists. It's everything from soccer balls to Barbies to books to clothes. And so we team up with the schools, work with them to coordinate which kids, and then also what the kids would like and their sizes and favorite colors. And then we ask the community to essentially sponsor a kid for the party. And that just entails that they receive at least 3 or more items that are on their wish list. And then we throw this big party for them. So this year it'll be December 19th. We're doing it at 2 different schools. And it's just awesome. Like, we bring in a Santa Claus, and we bring in lots of snacks, and we get them all hopped up on sugar. And then they come up and they get their picture with Santa with like their big Christmas sack that has all of their presents in it. And then they go back and sit down. And at the end, we do this countdown where then everyone gets to open up their sacks at the same time. Wow. And it's like total chaos and mayhem. And it's so much fun.
Yeah. So what are we going to be able to give my audience? I'm sure lots of my audience wants to participate. We're going to give them a link in the show description. Do they actually buy the gifts? Do they need to have Amazon drop them off somewhere? How does this work if somebody wants to be a part of it?
Yeah, this is awesome. So I'll share the spreadsheet link with you. It's just a Google Doc spreadsheet. It's view only on purpose. So that way we can keep track of who's sponsoring whom. And none of the kids' information also gets mixed up either. And then if someone wants to sponsor, if they could just reach out to me, email me or DM me, let me know which kiddo. And then we ask that all the gifts get dropped off over to our Ship Las Vegas location at Fort Apache, which is on the spreadsheet, by the 14th, just because it gives us time. We need to wrap them and things like that. So some people will go physically shop, they'll go to Target or Walmart or whatever and go shop and then drop stuff off. Or you can actually shop on Amazon and then just mail it to us, mail it to Ship, and include the kid's name in the shipment.
Okay.
And then yeah, we unbox everything, we get it all wrapped up, we get it packaged up, and we get it transported over. So it's awesome.
Very cool. Just so I know going into this, how many kids are not sponsored yet? Do you know? Roughly.
Right now, here, I have the spreadsheet right now. Yes. Right now, let's see. 2 still from Perkins, and then from Theriot Elementary, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, 15 from Theriot so far are still outstanding.
All right, folks.
We have a total of 67 kids total.
All right, I'm going to call it 20 just because I'm not exact that way. Let's call it 20 kids. I'm hoping my One Rental at a Time community sponsors all 20 of them. This is all done, all taken care of. I'm going to hold you guys accountable. Olivia and I will certainly be participating in this, so we will take care of a couple of them for sure. Guys, we need to help out. This is a great cause. And Lisa, you're just so amazing. You're always out giving. I don't know how you do it. You seem to be everywhere.
It's magic. It's the power of social media.
Yeah, it's like there's 3. Like, do you have a twin like we don't know about? And it's just
I heard years ago that I have a doppelganger who works at Tao. I heard this from multiple people. Like, they were like, I saw someone and they were like, I was sure it wasn't you, because they were like, why would she be cocktailing at Tao? They were like, but we think it was you. And I was like, it wasn't me. Like,
I don't do that. Yeah. That's funny. Well, you're amazing. Again, thank you so much for saying yes to speaking at the event. You certainly don't have to do it. You're losing some of your weekend for that. So we appreciate you guys. Again, let's take care of those kids. I'll put the link in the description. It will be the only thing in the description, so you won't be able to say you missed it. Have a wonderful day, Lisa. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Bye.